Hey, how's it going, guys? Hope you're doing fantastic today. My name is Tyson here with Repair My Funnel, and today we're going to be diving into the world of ClickFunnels 2.0 to talk about courses. This is the second video in the trainings we're doing around courses, and this one specifically will be covering more or less a general overview of the Courses app. Now, there's a lot to cover here, so that's why we're splitting everything up into segments or different sections. This one in particular is just going to be a nice walkthrough, which is basically just to make sure that you know where to go for anything that you're looking for inside of the app itself. And if you ever forget, you can always come back and just rewatch this and you'll be good to go. Now, to kick things off, let's click on courses in that left-hand navigation. If you do not see courses over here, that just means that you do not have the app added to your workspace, and you need to go over here and click on the little plus icon, find courses, add it to your workspace, create your first course, and then after that, it will show over here in the left-hand navigation. Now, there is a video within the series. It's actually going to be the first video in the series walking through that entire process, so check that out first and then come back to this one. All right, but if you see courses, fantastic. Let's go ahead and click on it directly. And once you do, it'll bring us to the courses homepage. Now, this is going to be where you can create courses, you can manage courses, you can edit courses. That's basically the three things that you end up doing here. But let's go and walk through each of the buttons, click on them, show you what they do. All right, starting off on the top left, we have different views, right? So we can see all courses at once. We can see published, we can see draft courses, and we can see all courses that are showing within the Customer Center. All right, and we'll get into Customer Center training further down the line here, but just know that that is here when you come back around to it. All right. On the right hand side of the screen, we have the option to create a course. All right. So just like what we covered in that first video, if you click on this, it's going to show that little pop up in the middle of the screen, starting off, prompting you to create this brand new course that you'd like to have. All right. Click through the options there, hit next, and it's going to ask you a few more questions to make sure that everything's good to go and set up properly. Now, moving down the screen here, we have all of the courses that have been created inside of this workspace. As you continue to add new courses and create new things, they will be added to this page moving forward, right? So everything should display in this one area. If you want to manage them, all you have to do is click on the name of each individual course, or I think these two also lead you directly into the course as well. But anyways, click on one of those three and it'll bring you to this page right here where you can go in and create new modules, you can create new lessons, you can manage the course itself, and all that fun stuff. Let's head back. We'll come back to the screen eventually, but moving over to the right, you can adjust the status of your actual course, right? You have publish and draft by default there. And to the right of that, we have the ability to go in and open a new window. You can do the same thing over here actually by clicking on the icon or the course image that's being represented over here on the left. It'll just allow you to preview the course, right? Same thing over here. All right, so there is that. Now, right besides that, you'll have the option to go ahead and duplicate a course, right? So let's say you have a nice base layer that you want to use for the next course in line. Just click on this guy right here, and it will do exactly that. It's going to make it an exact duplicate of what we have already created and all that fun stuff. All right, moving over to the right here, you have the option to go in and adjust all of the template pages for the course itself. There we go. Load that up. Such as the course home, you have the module page here, and other templates over here on the right side. Now, this isn't my favorite way to access this, so as we move forward in this series, I'll show you some other ways. But just know that that is there in case you ever need it. All right, to the right of that, you have the option to access the course settings there. All right, click on the gear icon. It'll show a little pop-up on the right-hand side. From there, you can go and adjust things like the path name, the name of the course, the description of the course, whether or not you want to send enrollment emails. There we go. That's actually pretty new. That just was released, I'd say like a day ago. Fun stuff. Anyways, this is the course settings. You can go and make any adjustments to that specific course directly from the screen without actually clicking into it if you want to do so. All right. Now, let's go ahead and dive into one of these courses so we can see what's happening under the hood. Go and start off on the left, work our way right and down. All right. The first thing we got to point out here is that you can adjust the image for your course directly right here in the middle of the screen. If you click on this, it'll allow you to go in and add or select one or an image rather that you want to represent this course. You can also do so in the settings as well. All right. So if you go over here to settings, you can go to course image and apply one right here. All right. Over here, you can go in and preview a course by clicking on this little eyeball icon. And below that, you can do the same thing actually by clicking on this guy directly. There we go. It'll open up a new tab for you. All right. Now, I do not currently have access to this course. I haven't really done anything with it. It's a brand new course, and there's nothing in it, so there's nothing to see. But if there was, I'd be able to preview with both of those. All right, I can also copy the URL by clicking on this little icon right here. So if I want to give this to somebody to test, or a friend to have access to it, whatever, you can give this guy right here. Obviously, make sure that they have access to the course first before you just give them a link. But we'll cover adding people and all that fun stuff later on in the series. All right, moving over to the right, we have an option to adjust the state of the actual course from published to draft. To the right of that, you have the option to duplicate a course or delete. There we go. And then we have the course settings over here on the right. This is basically the exact same thing that we saw on this page. We go back to courses and click on the gear icon. It's the exact same settings that we see here. There we go. Right on. All right, moving down, we have the different categories that you can select through here, starting with the outline. This is going to be the main area you're probably going to play with the most here. This is basically the layout of the course, such as like modules, the lessons in those modules. You can go in and create new ones by clicking on Add Content over here on the right-hand side. This little black button here, and you'll see an option for adding a new module or adding a new lesson. If I want to add a new module, just click on that directly and it will do exactly that. It's going to allow you to give this guy a name. We'll call this module 2, just for an example here, right? You can assign an image to it and add a description if you want to. And you can also assign a parent module. So if you want to make this like a sub module, you could technically do so. But we're going to leave this as is with no parent module there. Create module, and you'll see that after that loads, we have a brand new module added to the course. All right, by default, everything you add to a course is going to show in draft mode, so you would need to go in and publish everything once it is ready to go. All right, now for each module, if you want to, you can technically just click over here and add content. In this case, there's nothing in this module, so it's showing empty-add content, but either way, it's going to be the same options. You can add a sub module, or you can add a lesson here. Right, there it is. You can also drag things around. So if I want to move the order of operations for these individual courses, or modules rather, I can drag this below this one. Maybe I have to have content in there. Let's see. Oh no, there we go. I can drag this above and have module number 2 as the first thing that shows in the navigation there. Anyways, let's go ahead and move this guy back up. There we go. All right. Now let's go and add a new lesson here. And we'll call this lesson 2. There we go. Create a lesson. When it comes to dragging things around, you can technically do the same thing with lessons as well, right? So if I want to drag a lesson to a different module, you could definitely do so. You can do that with submodules as well. So if I add a new submodule, there we go. And then I add content to this, lesson 1, sub 1. All right, just so we can keep track of all this. All right, there's gonna be another lesson inside of the submodule. And if I wanted to drag that submodule that we created to an entire different module, I technically could do so. Crazy. It's all manipulatable. It's all there for you to control and adjust as you want. But there's that. All right. So again, just to recap here within this outline screen here, if you want to add content, you can by clicking on Add Content up here. You can add modules. By clicking on this button right here, you can add lessons directly from this drop down as well. And after that, if you wanted to, say, add specific lessons or submodules to individual modules, you could by clicking on the Add Content option here and click on the option that you want, right? Whether that's to add a submodule or a lesson. Technically, you can also create submodules as well if you wanted to. All right, there we go. New submodules. There we go. All right, another layer there, and we can keep adding as far as you really can imagine. So there's that. Now, to the right of each of these guys, we have settings, or a little 3-dot option here to click on. You can go in here and adjust the module settings. All right, there you go. You can do the same for lessons. There's going to be lesson settings. Actually, even when you click on Edit Lesson, it's just going to show the editor itself, and the settings for the lesson will appear on the left-hand side. For the editor, so you can tell we're already in here, this is going to be the exact same layout and functionality as what you'd see inside of a funnel or a page. Same thing. As far as the editor goes, it's literally the exact same editor with the same elements. There are some new ones that are course specific, but overall the dynamic here as far as how you add things is the same. So we have sections, and inside of sections we have rows, and inside of rows we have elements. Right? There you go. Make up the actual lesson as you want, and yeah, create the exact lesson that you would like to have here. Now, if you want to go from lesson to lesson, I thought this was pretty cool. This is added pretty recently as well. You can click on the arrows here. Let's go ahead and save changes, for example, there, but click on the arrow and it'll take us to the next lesson inside of our course for you to start editing and customizing here. Pretty cool. All right, there's that. We can also add lessons from this page as well. There we go. So new lesson. You can choose the parent module. We'll do lesson 3 there so we can see where it's actually coming from. Now we can go and click out of here and we should see that the lesson 3 is added right there to module number 1. Anyways, back to the 3 dots here. We have 2 other options for both modules and lessons here, and submodules, same thing. Click on the 3 dots here, and it's going to be, you'll see the option for preview and duplicate module, right? You see the same things for lessons. You can duplicate right here or preview as well. All right, one thing that is different between modules and lessons is that you can actually delete a lesson as well. You can delete modules if you want to. If you want to edit module, scroll down to the bottom and click on delete, but it's not right front and center like you would see for a lesson. There we go. Same thing goes for a submodule as well. We'll go over here and edit module. It's going to be within the settings at the very bottom. Now there's 2 last things we haven't actually touched on yet for this view. First thing is going to be the status of each of the items here for modules, lessons, and submodules. For modules, you'll see 3 different options. You'll see, actually, I guess 4 if you count published. But we have published, we have draft, we have drip, and lock. So lock is if you don't want someone to actually see the course, you can essentially click this and lock the module so no one can actually view it. When someone clicks on it, they'll see something else. You'll assign a different value to it. If you click on drip, you can make it so there's a drip delay here. As far as time goes, if you don't want people to access the course for 3 days, or from 3 days after they were enrolled in the course, this is where you'd want to set that up, right? So type in 3. Now at this point, what that is going to do is after 3 days has passed, once they've been enrolled, it will then give them access to this module. All right, there is that. Now I don't have any published lessons here. Let's go and publish another one. I can show you. Oh, sorry, I'm going to publish this guy, module number 2. Update module. Turn this on. Publish. There we go. And lock. There we go. And now, once we have something to cover up that existing module that we're trying to lock, it will allow you to select that in that dropdown. So essentially what that means is in this dropdown, if we select this right here, it will show this lesson whenever this module is clicked on. That sounds confusing, but it just makes it so no one can actually access the contents of this module. They're just going to be redirected to whatever you select in this dropdown. All right, there is that. For lessons, we have 2 settings here. We have published and draft, nothing too crazy. The majority of the settings are within the modules themselves. Same with submodules as well, right? We have the publish, drip, lock, and draft as well. So modules and submodules have the most control when it comes to the different states and control over the views. Now, moving over to the next tab, we have members. This is going to be where all of your active members will show, and it'll also show the progress for each of them, right? So if you have a bunch of members and you're trying to see how far along everyone is getting within the course, you can see it on this page. Now, moving over to access, this is where you'll be able to make it so your course is a paid course. If you want to make it so there's a requirement in line or set up so that way someone has to have purchased a product before being able to access the course, this is where you want to go. You can go and add a product, and right here you can select the actual product you want to force someone to purchase before being able to access the course itself. Basically, it's just so you have more control over who can view this, who can get in, who can actually get into the course area itself, right? If they have not purchased the product, they will not be able to see the course. That's it. Those are the fine lines there. All right. If you do not have a product already added, you can technically create one from this page as well. Moving from the Access tab to Customize, we'll see one and only option here, and that is basically just to turn on the advanced options for your course. By default, whenever you create a new course inside of the platform here, it is automatically going to be set up as a Learning Hub style course, which is basically going to look just like this. There we go. So it's going to have everything formatted by default, just like this. All of your lessons, your modules, the actual course home, the overall customer center page, right? To view all the courses that you have, this will all already be created for you, so you don't have to worry about it. If you want to go beyond this and go in and further customize everything, you can go in and turn on the options, or this little option right here, to essentially have advanced customization features enabled for the specific course. Now, when you do this, there's a couple things, actually a handful of things that you need to be aware of, and that's what we'll be covering in the next video. Basically, these are theme pages or different things that you need to be aware of and what you need to adjust for the course itself in order to have everything function correctly and show up how you want it and all the good stuff. We'll be covering that in the next video to come. So that is a wrap for this video. Hopefully you found this valuable and you enjoyed it. If you did, awesome. If you didn't and you have some lingering questions, make sure to let me know down below and I'll point you in the right direction. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your day and I hope to see you in the next video.